right. So first off, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate your time. I know that you're busy. But to get started, if you could tell me a little bit about what you're doing, the franchise you're doing, and how you got started.
Sure. So we're opening up In-Symmetry Spa in Salt Lake City. Our plan is to open up at least 3 of them in that area. We're starting with the first one with an open date. We're new. The open date is early May.
Okay.
To get open. Yeah.
Awesome. So what got you interested in the In-Symmetry Spa franchise?
So I met Candace and Dave a couple years prior. They're the founders of In-Symmetry. And Candace originally started the spa, over a decade ago in San Francisco.
Okay.
I started becoming interested in franchising in 2013-14. I've been a franchise consultant for many years. And so I understand the industry, and, I look at hundreds of franchises every year. Talking to them, I knew they had a passion, and they knew the industry really well, which you don't always see. You have owners that are, or CEOs that are hyper focused on the franchise model, but don't really have a real connection with the industry. And so I like that she had built it. She was the one that built it from scratch and knew the industry inside and out.
Okay.
So we met a couple of years ago through franchising, through networking, and connected that way originally. I looked at lots of different franchises, as you can imagine, as most people do. Lots of different business models in the Salt Lake area and ones that would work. And ultimately decided that, the focus, I've been passionate about health and wellness and fitness for a long time. And ultimately decided that this was a good brand to join and be part of and help them grow.
Awesome. So you're still in the process of doing your build out, I understand. So you said you're opening in May.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about 80% through the build out right now, with a target date of early May.
Okay. So the next question I was going to ask is, what's your typical kind of day, week look like? But if you're still in the build out process, but that is still really interesting. Like, what is that like doing the build out process?
So it's managing the contractors, it's finding the location and then having a strong general contractor and running it that way. We're not full-time in Salt Lake City. We split our time between San Francisco and Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And so finding a strong general contractor that can help move that is key. I wouldn't say it's certainly not a full-time job right now, or will be in the future for us, really. It's just keeping tabs of the construction process is really what it is. You're sort of a project manager of sorts.
Right.
That managing the general contractor.
Okay. So, what is the thing, and, this is a little bit different for you. I've interviewed a couple other people, and most of them didn't really know anything about franchising when they got into it. So you're quite a bit different.
Right.
But what is the one thing you wish you knew before you started this process?
Oh, geez, that is a hard one. I don't know. There hasn't really been any surprises.
Okay.
As you mentioned, I am a little unique. I have, several years in the bag in franchising in general. I also knew the founders for a couple of years before moving forward with it.
Right.
So I wouldn't say there are any surprises.
Okay.
At this point. Sorry.
Okay. No, that's good. No, and like I said, you're completely different, and there is there's something really unique about going into this kind of situation where the owners, the industry, the concept, and so a lot of people kind of shy away from a brick and mortar kind of concept, and so you went with a concept where not only are you doing a build out, you're going to do 3 build outs. And that's no little thing. And, when I talked to Candace, she said you guys, at least her plan was for the franchises to kind of follow other health and wellness franchises, which is brilliant. That is brilliant. That's how you maintain success and you maintain a business, is you kind of latch on
completely
another business that's related, that you're going to symbiotic with each other.
Right.
Okay. And I think this question is actually really interesting for you specifically. Why did you pick this one over another franchise?
Yeah. So the same as a typical prospective franchisee, I looked at lots of different options in Salt Lake City specifically to see what might be a good fit. There were really, one of the factors was what I mentioned earlier, the fact that they have the knowledge of the industry. Talking to Candace, that she knows this industry inside and out, being the massage esthetician world and just that wellness world. You can just tell that she knows what she's doing. So that was, the founders for sure was a big part of moving forward. The other is I like being part of an emerging brand. I like getting into something earlier. It gives me a couple of options. One, if we're looking at really scaling, getting into something that's been around for, decades, the chance of even having enough territory available is slim.
Right.
And so I like the opportunity that we have with, we've committed to 3, but who knows how many will open, and I like having that opportunity.
Yeah, no, that is
or at least option. Right. And I like being new because it's, we're helping, drive the brand. We're not, we're not opening up a Supercuts who has hundreds of locations and we're just another Supercuts. We will be, very influential in the growth of the brand. And I like that feeling. It sort of scratches the entrepreneurial itch that I have without having to do it completely on my own. So,
exactly. And that's the benefit of franchising.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it was really those. What's that?
I'm sure you say it all the time. We tell people you're going into business for yourself, but not by yourself.
That's right. Yeah. And emerging brands can be very scary for a lot of people. Yeah. I know, a lot of my clients are, they're wary of emerging brands, the ones that don't have a lot of territories or even open stores yet. And I get that. Yeah. And I think you can tell from, one, from Candace and the founders on how are they truly involved in the business and in it for the growth of the franchise and the long term, and they are. And that's important when you're evaluating something.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question is, what are the biggest challenges when ramping up a new franchise?
I'd say the biggest challenges are, well, specifically with this and a brick and mortar, are finding a location and hiring.
Okay.
We are not going into this. We are not full-time owner operators with this business. We will be a semi-absentee owner. And so hiring and finding a good manager is key.
Right.
As well as the location. You mentioned, trying to find a location where you're in with other fitness oriented and health oriented businesses. That's what we found. We have, a small complex, and the majority of the businesses in there are essentially power partners for our clients that will be able to, our clients will be great target for them and vice versa. So it's finding that location and then hiring. Hiring is key with any business, but specifically with a franchise, it's the number one thing to focus on, because everything else is laid out.
Right.
Then it's just, once we hire the right people, then it's just a matter of following the process and following the steps to execute. But hiring is going to be key.
Yep. All right. Well, that was it. I really appreciate